students, welcome to online plus 1 chemistry classes. Today we are going to study the continuation of the chapter classification of elements and periodicity in properties. We already studied the properties of periodic table. That is, the first property that we studied was atomic radii. And the second one was what? Ionization enthalpy. Ionization. Hope you remember what is ionization enthalpy, the unit and the properties. Okay. Ionization enthalpy. It's important. The third property that we studied what? It was electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy. And the last property was electronegativity. Electronegativity. These were the four important properties of the periodic table. Today's class we will just study a summary of all these properties and also the property called valence or oxidation states. Or oxidation state. This is the last property that we are going to study in this chapter. Oxidation state. Okay, so let us start. Let us look what is valence or oxidation state. Valence can be defined as the number of electrons in the outermost orbitals or 8 minus the number of outermost electrons. It is the number of electrons in the outermost orbital. What are the number of electrons that are present in the outer orbital only? That is represented by valence or the, nowadays we are using the term what? Oxidation state. Remember, it is the number of electrons in the outermost shell. Now let's look the variance of the periodicity of valence or the oxidation state in each group. I have written the group numbers, group 1, 2 and then from the P block group 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. In between here there will be what D block elements that we will study later in detail, okay, in D block chapter. Now let's look the number of outermost electrons in each group. The first group number of outermost electrons is 1. For the second group 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like that goes. And for the 18th group it is 8 number of outermost electrons. Now let's look what is the valence or the oxidation state. Okay, for the first group that is 1. It shows a valency or the valence of 1. Here it is 2. Here it is 3. For the 14th group it will be 4. From 15th group onwards it will show 2 valence. That is, it will be 8 minus 5 is what? I have already taught you the definition. 8 minus number of valence electrons. So it will be 3, 5. Okay. Here it is 2, 6. For the 17th group, what will be the valence? That will be 3, 7. Sorry, 3, no. 1, 8 minus 7 is 1. 1, 7. Number of outermost electrons is 7 and also 8 minus number of outermost electrons is 1. 1, 7 and here 0, 8. These are the valencies that are exhibited by the elements from group 1 to group 18. One more definition that we can give to the oxidation state of a compound in particular is, it is the charge acquired by its atom on the basis of a electronegative consideration from other atoms in molecules. Oxidation state of a compound. This is the definition of an oxidation state in a compound. It is the charge acquired by its atom. Atoms, compounds are made up of atoms, isn't it? The charge acquired by the atom in particular on the basis of the electronegative consideration from the other atoms in the molecule. That is, we can determine the oxidation state of an atom in a compound by consideration with the electronegativity of the other atom in the molecule. Okay. So let's consider two compounds. That is, first compound is Na2O. Okay, and the next one is OF2. These are the two examples that we are going to consider. Electronegativity difference is that fluorine is highly electronegative than oxygen than sodium. This is the order of electronegativity. Okay. Here what we can do, look, in the case of OF2, that is the fluorine is with the configuration what? NS2 NP5, right? Sorry, or 2s2 2p5 we can say. It is 2s2 2p5, the electronic configuration. It need one more electron. That is, it will take from the oxygen. Fluorine need one more electron to complete the octet. So it will share one electron from the oxygen. Okay. It will share, there are two fluorine. One fluorine will share one electron and there are two fluorines. So it will share two electrons from the oxygen. Hence, the electronegativity, the oxidation state of the fluorine will be what? -2 here. Fluorine will have in OF2, the oxidation state will be -2. For one fluorine it will be -1 for one fluorine. For two fluorine it will be what? -2 will be the oxidation state. And then for oxygen what is the? It is 2s2 2p4 is the electronic configuration, outer electronic configuration of what? Oxygen. It will share two electrons from the fluorine. Okay. So what will be the oxidation state of the oxygen? Oxidation state will be what? +2. Like this, we will compare the electronegativity of the other atom in a compound and we will determine what the oxidation state. Now let's look in the case of Na2O. Oxygen has the highest electronegativity. The electronic configuration of oxygen is what? 2s2 2p4. What it will do? It needs two electrons. So it will share two electrons from the sodium. And it will have the oxidation state of -2. And the sodium, for one sodium it will be +1. Okay. That is, it has what? NS1 electronic configuration. For the sodium or the alkali metal says NS1 electronic configuration, it need one more electron. So the sodium will share one electron from the what? Oxygen. There are two sodium atoms, so it will share two electrons from the oxygen atom. So sodium will have +1 oxidation state. These are the oxidation state of what? Elements in the compound Na2 and OF2. Hope you understood what I have told. We will compare the electronegativity and we will determine the what? Oxidation state of elements in a compound. Anomalous properties. These are some exceptions of the period. Okay, second period shows anomalous properties. Second period. The first elements in the period, like what? The first elements lithium, beryllium, and from boron to fluorine, they show some exceptional properties. That is, they differ in the properties of the elements in the other group. Down the group, the elements are down the group. No, that elements differ. The first elements differ from the other elements in the group. Let's look. That is, in the first period it is lithium, beryllium, boron. Second it is sodium, magnesium, aluminum. Let's look at the example. That is the metallic radius. Look here. The lithium resembles more. The metallic radius of lithium resembles more to what? Magnesium. That is, it is 152 and it is 160. You don't want to remember these values, just I am saying an example. For look, in the case of beryllium, it is similar to that of aluminium. They show some exceptional properties. Boron, for these elements it is called as what? Diagonal relationship. You may have already studied this. This is diagonal relationship. Usually the elements in a group will show similar properties. Okay, that is lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. But the lithium will show some exceptional properties compared to the other elements in the group. That is, these first elements in the period usually shows covalent bond, compared to other elements only show ionic bonds. because the reason for all these anomalous properties is that due to their small size. The elements in the first period are small. Due to their small size, high electronegativity, this all we studied, high electronegativity due to their small size and high charge to ratio, charge to radius ratio, high charge to radius ratio. These are the three reasons. Charge to radius ratio. These are the three reasons why they show anomalous properties. Okay. The first elements of the second period mainly shows anomalous behavior, that is lithium, beryllium and from boron to fluorine. That are the elements in the second period. They show difference in properties because of their small size, high electronegativity and high charge to radius ratio. Okay, and also we can see that the elements of the second period only will form what? Pi-pi interaction. Pi-pi bonds like C double bond C, C triple bond C, N triple bond N, like this. Pi bonds are formed more, or they are only formed by the elements in the second period usually, because they have only in the second period the elements are having 4 valence orbitals. 4 valence orbitals. That is NS2. That is the orbitals are NS2 NP2. Usually there are what? 4 valence orbitals for them. But you can see that there are only 2s and 2p orbitals. That I meant 2s and 2p are only present. Okay. This can vary. NP6 is the last. There is only 2s and 2p orbitals. That is 4 valence orbitals are only present for what? Elements in the second period. But for the elements in the corresponding third period and all, there are 3s, 3p and also 3d orbitals. That is, there are 9 orbitals for what? The elements in the third period. But for the elements in the second period, there is only 4 valence orbitals present. So what happens? There are more bonding options for the elements in the third. So they also form what? Ionic compounds. They form ionic compounds. But the elements of the second period will form comparatively different properties because they have only 4 valence orbitals. So they mainly form p-pi interaction, that is bonds like C double bond C, C triple bond C, N triple bond N, like that compounds. Students, now look at this compound AlClH2O 5 times 2 plus. What is the covalency and the oxidation state? State of aluminium. Covalency and oxidation state of aluminium, are they same? This is one important question. Look here, what is the oxidation state of aluminium? Aluminium, we know that it is in the third group. So it will show an oxidation state of what? +3 oxidation state will be shown. Outer electrons, there are only 3 outer electrons. But the covalency is different for this compound. AlClH2O 5 times whole 2 plus. Look, with the aluminium there are ligands of 1 Cl and 5 H2O are bonded to the aluminium. So the covalency of aluminium will be what? 6. Covalency of aluminium is 6. That is, there is 1 chlorine and 5 H2O that are bonded to the aluminium. That is, the covalency of aluminium is 6 and the oxidation state of aluminium is +3. We have studied about different properties, that is ionization enthalpy, electronegativity, etc. we have studied. What we understood from that? All the properties will depend upon the electronic configuration of the elements. There are some exceptions, but also in common all the properties, metallic character, non-metallic character, every properties will depend upon the electronic configuration of the elements in general. So the next property that we are going to study is the chemical reactivity. Okay. Also, we can see that the chemical reactivity will depend upon the elements. The first elements, that is the alkali metals, we can say. They have only one electron, their outermost shell. What they will lose an electron and forms a cation and take part in a reaction. As they will be in the +1 oxidation state. They will lose an electron. If they lose an electron, what they will form? They will form cation. Similarly, the elements in the last, that is the halogens, not inert halogens, they need one electron to complete the octet. So they will gain one electrons from the other elements and form bonds. That is, they will have what? Then they will have completely filled octet. So they will gain electrons and become reactive. That is, the first elements and the last element, they are more reactive in a periodic table. Okay. We can explain the chemical reactivity of the elements based on their reaction with oxygen and halogens. The chemical reactivity can be best explained with their reaction with halogens and oxygens. Now we will study the reaction with the oxygens only in this chapter. Look, with the first elements of the first group, they form oxides like Na2O. And from the last, you can see this chlorine is a halogen. They form Cl2O7. Reaction with oxygen. We are now discussing reaction with what? Oxygen. To determine or to explain what? Chemical reactivity. Okay? Reactivity. They form compounds like Na2O and Cl2O7. The elements in the middle. This is the third group, right? Boron, aluminium. The third group, that is the Al2O3. They form compounds like Al2O3 and also As2O3. Arsenic is under which element? Nitrogen, phosphorus. Okay, so boron, carbon, nitrogen, fourth, fifth group. Okay, they form As2O3 compounds. Look, these compounds are basic. The oxides that are formed with alkali metals or alkaline earth metals are basic in nature. Okay, and the oxides formed with halogens are acidic in nature. The elements in the middle, they can be usually these two compounds are amphoteric. This is a new term probably for you. They are amphoteric, and the other carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, N2O. These three compounds are neutral. That is, the amphoteric means these elements behave as acid or acidic in reaction with bases and what? Basic in reaction with acids. They behave, if they are reacting with an acid compound, they will behave as bases, and if they are reacting with what? Basic compounds, they will react like acidic in nature. That is the meaning of amphoteric behavior. Next is the compounds like CON and N2O will be neutral. That is, they do not have acidic or basic character. These are oxides, but no special acidic or basic character can be explained. The first elements in the first group, or usually the alkali or alkaline earth metals, the oxides will be basic in nature, and for the oxides of halogens will be acidic in nature. This is the explanation for the reactivity of the compounds. We can explain the nature, that is the basic nature of Na2O by reacting it with water. Look, Na2O plus what? H2O will give you what? 2NaOH. What is NaOH? It is a base. We can test if it is a base or acid with litmus paper also. Okay. Next thing is we can test whether this Cl2O7 is acidic or not. That is Cl2O7 plus water. What it will give? That is 2HClO4. This is an acid, perchloric acid. Okay, this is an acid and this is acidic in nature. We can explain the acid or basic character by their reaction with what? Water. All the properties are over, and now let's look at the summary of what we have learned in this chapter. All the properties. The first property, you just assume this as a periodic table. This is the first, the S block, then the D block or the transition metals, and the P block. elements. First we studied the atomic radii, that is from left to right what happens? Atomic radii decreases. Atomic radii what decreases. Okay, or we can put the arrow like this. This is the highest atomic radii. From left to right, the atomic radii decreases. And from top to bottom, what happens? Atomic radii increases. Atomic radii increases from top to bottom. The next property that we studied what? Ionization enthalpy. Ionization enthalpy what? It increases from left to right. That is, we studied that ionization enthalpy will increases from left to right. Ionization enthalpy. Similar properties shown by the electron gain enthalpy also. Electron gain enthalpy also what happens? Electron gain enthalpy increases from left to right. That is, it will be very difficult to add an atom with the elements that are very small. So that the electron gain enthalpy will also increase, and the ionization enthalpy means the energy that we provide to remove an electron from loosely bound electron. So that will be also high for a small atom. So nuclear charge increases from left to right. We studied all the reasons, okay? You should keep in mind. Ionization enthalpy will increase from left to right, and also electron gain enthalpy will increase. And from top to bottom, what happens? It decreases. Okay, both electron gain enthalpy and also ionization enthalpy. This is the next property, electron gain enthalpy and the ionization. Next, let's look at the what? Metallic and non-metallic character. What happens? The metallic character will decreases from left to right. It decreases. That is the metallic character. Metallic character decreases. Okay, similar will be what? The opposite will be the non-metallic character. That is, non-metallic character increases. Non-metallic character. Okay, these are the main properties. The atomic radii or the ionic radii, ionization enthalpy, electron gain enthalpy, metallic character, non-metallic character. We studied that the elements here, the first elements will be highly reactive, and also the halogens will be highly reactive. These are all the properties that we need to study in this chapter. We are going to conclude this chapter and also this video. Hope you are clear about what I have taught you today. If you have any doubt, you can comment below. Thank you and have a nice day.